My next guest, he's a professional mixed martial artist with a perfect professional record of 2 wins with no losses. He currently has a fight February 4th, which you can catch on UFC Fight Pass next week. Please welcome onto the show, Tracy Reader. How you doing, Tracy?
I'm good, brother. Yeah, soon to be 3-0.
Soon to be 3-0. There you go.
We could just go ahead and say it. We could just go ahead and say 3 and
Hey,
0.
it's a big thing, Usually when I have fighters on that have upcoming fights, I say when they win, not if they win. So I
Sir.
definitely agree with you.
Yes, sir.
That's the only way to be right now. How are you doing, Tracy?
I'm good, man. Just finishing up camp. It's pretty much like all the work's done, so we're just killing time until the big day.
Now, so you've already kind of getting through like the end process of camp. Now, can you tell the audience, for some people that may not know, first of all, you're a professional mixed martial artist. You're 2-0, successful one. You were, I believe, what, 4-2 as an amateur, correct?
5-2,
5-2
5-2.
as an amateur. Okay, so 5-2 as an amateur. You're going into, again, next week is fight week. How does Tracy Reader spend fight week, man?
Man, it's just honestly, it's super weird, but it's just another week. And like on fight week, you're sitting there like, man, this should feel like a special week, but it just doesn't, man. You know, I'm used to competing. I've been competing all my life, so I really don't make a big deal about it. It's just another day. It just is what it is, man. It's just another week for me.
How do you get any like pre-fight nerves? Does it hit you during the week while you're cutting weight or even on fight day?
No, it's super like weird how not nervous I get because I grew up wrestling. There
Okay.
wasn't a match I wrestled that I wasn't nervous for.
Okay.
Not one, not even against kids I knew I was just gonna dust. I mean, there wasn't one match I didn't get nervous for. But these fights, man, it's just like weird, calming. Like once I felt it my first one, I said, "This is what I was born to do," because there ain't nothing that gives me that type of feeling.
So what was gonna what were you continue? Sorry.
Man, so just no nerves at all, man. Just excitement. Just I love performing for the crowd, my friends and my family, and my coaches, just to go out there. And it's an attention thing for me. Finally it's all I get to go show out in front of everybody.
What was your background? So you say you were competing since you were young. What was your background? Was it just wrestling, or did you grow up doing sports?
Man, I grew up wrestling. I played football, but wrestling was my main sport. I started wrestling at 4 years old.
Okay.
And I didn't know really what I was getting into. I watched the WWE a lot as a kid, and
Hey.
my parents were like, "Hey, do you want to wrestle?" I'm thinking like I'm watching TV. I'm like, "You want me to do that? All right, yeah, I'm in." And and then they trapped me. You know what I mean? And it just was a lifelong thing. From 4 years old to the time I was 19, 20 years old.
Now, who is your favorite wrestler?
Oh man, there's so many. Myself first, but
There you go.
if I'm gonna name a second, man, I don't know. There's a lot of fun guys to watch. I know. I really like watching Ben Askren. Just because of his funky style. I'm all about the funk. So.
Now, what about in the WWE? Did you have a favorite wrestler there?
Oh, growing up, it was for sure. So growing up, it was John Cena,
Okay.
but I watched like I was a super nerd about it, man. I had episodes on
I'm
on
telling you,
Disc
man.
from
I don't know if
the.
you can see that right there. That's
Oh my man.
Kevin Owens, their autograph.
I had a bunch of WWE videos from the 90s though on disc, and some even from the 80s. Dude, I had some old stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, I was a super nerd about it. And I really liked the Stone Cold Steve Austin and the Rock era, but growing up, like in my era, it was John Cena for sure. He was the
He's
he
the
and
guy.
he's the inspiration of a lot of jokes in the gym today. We play his song, getting warmed up, and
It's good
it's
to see.
great.
You know,
Yeah,
he's got a show out called Peacemaker right now.
dude, caught episode 5 yesterday.
Yeah, dude. Same here, man. I don't keep up with a lot of TV. We're always busy. You're training.
Yeah,
Don't
yeah.
really keep up with a lot of TV. And for the longest time, I have friends in the same industry just telling me, hey, Kat, you got to watch this, you got to watch that. I don't get around to it, man. But Peacemaker, man, I'm telling you right now, that show's the shit. It's
That shit is badass. I'll be tuning in next Thursday
yeah,
right after I end. I'm sure to chill out, and I'm sure I'm gonna be watching it.
yeah. It's the first show where I get up in the morning, I wake up and I tune in and I make sure I watch it when it drops. It's solid, man. I think see a lot of people are saying, oh, I don't think John Cena is a good actor, which I get. I don't think he's a good actor, but I think that the role and the way it's made for
Yeah,
him, I think he's killing it.
dude. Even down to the intro scene, they got him dancing and they got him doing all this
Yeah.
boxy shit because he
Yeah.
can't move. I'm sure.
Yeah, man. So it's a hell of a show. Shout out to him. Now, growing up for you, what got you into MMA, Tracy?
Well, so to bring it back, man, it all ties back to the
Yeah.
WWE weird
All right.
way. But I as a young kid, probably like you as a young kid, I thought it was real, and I thought those were the toughest guys on the planet.
Yeah.
And then
Guilty.
my dad showed me the UFC, and I'm trying to remember. It was either a Matt Hughes fight or it was either Couture, Liddell, or it was a Hughes fight. I can't really remember.
Okay.
But my dad's like, these are the real toughest dudes, and we argue.
Yeah, of course.
6-7-year-old Tracy. I'm like, John Cena would tear these guys up, Dad. You have no idea what you're talking about. And well, I started watching. I was like, man, this looks a little different, and
Yeah.
I
A little more
started
violent.
I started seeing it for what it was. This is real, and these are the real toughest dudes on the planet. So I then shifted. Like, it was like I dropped WWE almost overnight and was all about this, and I always just had a special interest growing up in MMA. So I kind of knew at a young age, that I was going to be pursuing this after my wrestling career. So it was like, it's kind of like just everything's gone to plan for me.
No, definitely. My first fight, I believe my first event was this UFC event. It was UFC USA versus Canada. So that was BJ Penn versus George St. Pierre. And that
Yeah,
was
yeah.
Rich Franklin against David Loazo. So I remember watching that event, and that's I would kind of shifted for me. I will say this though, John Cena's pretty jacked.
Yeah, right,
John
right.
Cena's pretty jacked. I mean, I think John Cena maybe could have gotten in there and at least stand with those guys. He's pretty jacked.
If it was the Hughes fight that I was watching, I said I was kind of shady.
Yeah.
He maybe takes Hughes because he's small. If it's the Liddell Couture fight, maybe a different story,
Oh no, definitely. But so what's interesting to me. So MMA is dangerous, right? In its own right, and people get hurt all the time. And I always tell people that professional wrestling can be tough as well, man. Because those guys, I mean, it's performance, right? It's scripted. It's
Yeah,
scripted. But at the same time, like I've seen some of like their entrance, like how to enter into that thing. And it's very brutal, man. I mean, if you make a wrong move, you could kill somebody. I
yeah.
saw a wrestler, I don't know, who Tyson Kidd was, but he was wrestling a guy named Samoa Joe. And I think the guy just did a routine move. And I think he messed it up once.
Is that back
And
TNA days?
no, not in the TNA days. It was actually in WWE, and he broke this guy's neck, man. And he could have died. He could have died had it not been for him having such a bulky neck. So, I mean, it's dangerous in its own right. I know people always say it's scripted and stuff. 100% it is. UFC is as real as it gets, right? That was the tagline. And MMA is just a very brutal sport. But, WWE in its own right has its brutalities. It's got its own stories there. So you went in, you shifted into MMA. When did you decide though, I want to fight? I want to fight. I want to do this. I want to compete like this.
So I was wrestling in college at the University of Central Oklahoma, and things were just kind of, me and my coach weren't really getting along. I was unhappy. I said, man, I'm just gonna, wrestling. I just don't want to wrestle anymore. I need a break. Wrestling's not for me. I really thought I would never at that time compete again.
Okay.
And then for about 5 months, I didn't even work out. About 2 months in, I started missing the sport. Man, I'm getting that itch to compete again. I'm watching a lot of videos. I'm watching tournaments, and I say, you know what, man, I'm gonna wrestle again. So went on a recruiting trip to a junior college. I had a semester I could do at junior college, and I signed there, and then moved home in Claremore, Oklahoma. and couldn't really find anyone to wrestle with me and work out. So this coach that owns this gym in Claremore hits me up, is like, hey man, I've heard that you can't find someone to work out with you. You know, if you come and teach a wrestling class once a week, we'll work out with you the other 6 days a week. You know, it won't be wrestling, but it'll be, you know, jiu-jitsu, MMA. So I'm just like, okay, I'll do that. I was 19, maybe. No, I was 20. And I think the first day I knew, like, I'm not going to, you know, I never went and wrestled at that second school, you know, so I just said, you know what, fuck it. I just want to fight. And about 6 months later, I had my first amateur fight.
Dang. So it started off like that. Now, again, you ran through the amateurs. At what point did you decide, hey, I want to go as a pro?
Before my first amateur fight, if you had asked me, I'd have been like, dude, I could do it.
Okay.
You know, so, went in my first one. I blew through the guy 50 something seconds. And I was like, man, you know, just like what I thought. And then the second one, probably the best thing that ever happened to me. I took a loss.
Okay.
And it just kind of opened my eyes, you know, and my first 4 amateur fights, I didn't even have a striking coach. I just had a jiu-jitsu coach. So, or maybe first 5, I can't really remember, but you know, I got a striking coach after my second loss, and just started gaining all these new skills and confidence. You know, with skills comes confidence. You know, I was confident, but kind of, you know, for no reason. But I started developing more skills, got confidence, went out my first fight with my striking coach, and dropped the dude with the first punch I threw. You know, finished him off, and at that point is when my fights started feeling like sparring matches. You know, I was like, yeah, I'm ready to go. You know, I grew up competing in front of people, so that aspect doesn't really affect me. It's just, you know, the fact that a motherfucker's throwing hands at you. You know, it's just different.
Yeah. How fast can you process when you drop somebody, man? Like you said, with your first punch. I mean, you're getting ready for war. First punch you land, he falls. I mean, what's going on through your mind? I mean, how do you describe that adrenaline that pumps through you?
Well, it was actually the first time I'd ever fought somebody that well, I just say this, I don't like any of them. That's just how I am. I gotta like up all these crazy stories in my head, and I hate the guys. But this guy, I didn't have to make anything up. He actually talked a little bit of shit on you know, on the internet. So it was whenever I dropped him, there wasn't a thought. I was like, shit, I'm gonna go land as much more as I can before they stop me. I'm gonna get it all in on this motherfucker. So so it was yeah, it was just kind of, you are just kind of like, no way, really? Like the fucking first one?
Yeah.
Like, but then at the same
office.
Yeah, at the same time, it's like, bet, make some fucking noise, dude. Exactly how you draw it up.
There you go. Now, as a professional, you know, you're successful professional already, you know, a successful start to your career, you know, 2-0, 2 first round finishes.
Yes,
Both of them haven't gone even past the 2-minute mark. You know, you even got one with strikes, and you got another one with a submission on there. Man, how you feeling going into the third one, man? Because obviously you don't want to get too overconfident, but you're pretty good. You know, you're already starting off pretty solid. So how do you keep yourself at bay, man? Still grounded, even though you've already come off 2 dominating wins.
Man, I just know, like, if anyone can get their ass whooped if they're not on their shit, right? So I'm always I'm my own worst critic. You know, if I have a practice and maybe I get touched that one time, maybe I get touched once the whole practice, I'm beating myself up about the one time. You know, I'm just hard on myself. You know, I'm training with good guys, and with skills comes confidence. So I'm highly skilled, highly confident, and you know, evolving at a crazy level. You know, the guy sitting here right now talking to you would fucking dust the same Tracy that fought those last 2 jokers. I mean, dust them. It just wouldn't even be close. If I could go back, I think December 10th was my last fight, and fight that version myself, it would be a first round massacre, you know, and that guy was pretty good.
Now
that version of me was pretty good, but I'm just so much better now.
Now, well, for you, Tracy, I mean, what's your goal? I mean, you fought to believe your first fight was on October. Your first professional fight was in October. Your last one was in December. We're heading towards, the February mark. You're about to get your third fight in there. How many? What's your goal for the year 2022, man? Is it to fight about what 4 or 5 times, or what's the goal? What's the end game for this year?
Well, last year, the way I see it, I fought 6 times and went 5-1, and I didn't
Okay.
even get started until April
Yeah.
of last year. So I'm getting started in February this year. I want to get at least 6 fights. I want to go 6-0. I want to be 8-0 by the end of the year, and then who knows? With a record like 8-0, sky's the limit where I could be.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to waste my time. I'm trying to get there.
What's your goal in the fight game?
I want to be a world champ, man. UFC world champ.
Now, is it only UFC, or would you be open to other promotions?
I mean, like it's hard to say. The dream has always been UFC. Growing up, it was UFC. Right now, if somebody says who's the toughest 155-pounder on the planet, they tell you it's Oliveira. Who is another 55 champ? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Who?
absolutely.
You know what I mean? So I want to be the general consensus number one. I want everybody to say my name when they're talking about number one, and that's really all it is. That's all it is for me.
No, definitely. It definitely is. The best of the best. For this upcoming fight, what can the audience expect from you, Tracy?
Man, I'm just gonna. Oh, dude, I am gonna fuck this guy up so bad.
Is he talking smack?
Huh?
Is he talking shit?
No. I'm sure he's a great guy, but like, dude, he's fighting me, so fuck him. You know what I mean? Like in my head,
It's business.
I mean, I'm just gonna go out there and outclass him, whether it's on the feet, whether it's on the ground, whether it's the wrestling exchanges on the clinch. I really, I don't game plan a whole lot. I'm just confident in my skills wherever it goes. So I just go out there. The beautiful thing about it is I just go out there and be Tracy Reeder, and Tracy Reeder is better than these guys. So I just got to go out there and just be myself and do what I do. And there's not a whole lot more thought process into it than that.
What's the number one lesson in your opinion that MMA has taught you?
Man, God, there's just so many. For one, you can't judge a book by its fucking cover, because you get in here and some of these dudes just don't pass the eye test, and they might, they might show you up. Like in the gym, guys in the gym, most of the guys that are stepping in the cage, they look, the part. But man, that eye test, I don't know, is deceiving. But man, I don't know. I think I'm just out here teaching the lessons. You know what I'm saying?
I love it, man. I love it. Tracy, as we're nearing the end, man. Question: were you able to catch the fights last week, man, for the UFC?
The UFC fights, Ngannou.
Yeah.
Yes, I did.
What was your thoughts on the fights, man?
Okay, so I actually have I've been kind of going off about the Ngannou fight.
Okay.
The fifth round, you see Ngannou get taken down by Cyril Gane, right?
Yes.
He gets taken down. He like lands on his elbow, and then he goes, and you hear Cormier say it. He goes, lands on his elbow, goes right to his back, right?
Yeah.
And Dan Cormier said he accepted bottom position.
Okay.
It's 2-2 in the rounds, right?
Yeah.
A takedown, if Cyril Gane just lays on him, seals it. Francis isn't getting up.
Yeah.
Francis kind of quit in the fifth round, right?
Yeah, he's tired for sure.
Yeah, for sure. But
for whatever reason,
he kind of quit. But then Cyril Gane sits back for this leg lock, and he doesn't get it, and then he kind of quits. And I'm just watching it, and I'm just like, both of these dudes tried to give this fight to the other guy. It was super frustrating for me to watch. It was a good fight, but solid. That part, it was like it's like a movie with a bad ending. You know what I mean? You're like, what? They all fucking die? No, like it's just like, dude, this had a terrible ending.
Yeah, see, I agree with you 100%. Like, obviously, it wasn't gonna knock your socks off, right? But because obviously, it's advertised, right? You think Ngannou's gonna knock him out, or Gane's gonna just outwork him on the feet. Now, I was thinking Gane initially, right? Here's the thing, though, Tracy. I bet a lot. We're gonna start doing like a betting show for the upcoming NFL season here. But I gamble a lot, man. So I like playing the odds here. So to me, going into the last, I guess, 10 days, I was telling myself, you know what? I think Ngannou's going to win this because there a lot of like Vegas was overvaluing Ngannou as majority of the audiences.
We all into the hype.
Yep, a lot of people were going into it and they were buying into the hype. So I said, okay, well, Ngannou is an underdog. Ngannou is getting the odds, and I think the odds were growing like for Ngannou's favor. So that's why I went with Ngannou. I said, okay, you know what? I'm going to capitalize on this. I'm going to bet this. It's like a little stock. So, I took a shot, right? I thought Ngannou may win, but I felt real confident in Francis's ability. Plus, again, you got to play the odds. So Ngannou was able to get it done. Now, I was surprised as hell, right? Anyone that tells you they thought that fight was going to go down that way, they're lying to you.
For
100%, man. 100%. My biggest thing is I think just Gane just didn't capitalize on the moment. I think it's we know we've seen it with fighters. Get the first title shot, things don't go their way. George St. Pierre got submitted really fast, towards Matt Hughes, and he's one of the greatest of all time. So it happens. I think Gane should have won that fight, though.
4 minutes and 59 seconds, if I'm correct, right?
The first round. Yeah. So he got submitted in the first round, and even George St. Pierre admits that he kind of froze up there. He wasn't confident. So I think with Gane, I'm not saying the moment got too big for him. I just think he frees, man. Sometimes it happens. I think that he will be a champion depending on John Jones' status and Francis Ngannou's status moving forward. So I think so. I thought it was just easy money to go Francis Ngannou, though, going into that, man.
Never bad to bet on the hardest puncher ever, right?
Yeah, as the underdog.
Yeah.
As the underdog. So for sure. What did you think of the Brandon Moreno fight? Because I thought he came in not the same fighter that came in to when he challenged Davison the second fight where he dominated him. Didn't look like the same guy.
I feel like every one of their fights has just been like I feel like if you got two guys that are close in skill and you have them fight 3 times, it would look like you said, kind of the same fight, but all 3 fights have just looked totally different.
100%.
No reason to believe the 4th fight wouldn't look totally different. Nobody would knows how that's going to go down. I thought it was crazy, but it's like, at 25, who else are you, who's really fucking with those guys?
Yeah, for sure. I mean,
Kai Kara France maybe, but
Pantoja's Pantoja's gotten 2-0 against Moreno, actually.
Oh, that's right. I know who you're talking about.
Alejandro Pantoja.
Yeah, but it's just like I mean,
not gonna sell out. It's not gonna sell.
Yeah. Like, who the fuck is that guy? Make it a co-main on a card that's
They need to add more juice to. Yeah, for sure, 100%. It sucked to see Brandon lose. I'm a fellow Hispanic as well. I wanted to see him succeed, but I didn't think a lot of people were talking about, oh, he got robbed. I thought Davison won the fight. I think he did enough to win.
Yeah, it's kind of tough because whenever I'm watching it with my gym. We do the fights, and everybody's talking, and I wasn't really, when you're judging a fight, you're sitting there like, okay, if I'm scoring this, watching it like that. I was watching it like a fan, but I didn't feel like, whenever it was over, I didn't go, oh, that's bullshit. I was just like, it could go either way,
Absolutely. Because, there's fights where you can definitely say that. I don't think this was the case. Tracy, as we're nearing the end, man, is there anything you want to let the audience know before we sign out?
Man, just shout out to my gym, Paycheck Martial Arts, Trinity Martial Arts, Clinch Martial Arts, like all these gyms helping me out, all my training partners. My sponsors, One Blow KO, Wilburn Realty Groups, you for having me on, man.
And I appreciate that, man. It's always a pleasure.
The next fight on UFC Fight Pass XFN, February 4th. I'll be the one doing the fucking up and not getting fucked up. So it'll be a good time.
What time does the fight card start?
Shit. Hang on. I think 8. Main card starts at 8.
Okay, awesome. And well, thank you so much, Tracy, for joining us on the show today, man. It was a pleasure to be able to speak to you. You're 2-0, going to be 3-0 soon after next week, man. We'll be looking forward to seeing your fight, man. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you, man. And to all the audience out there listening, thank you for joining us today. I'll catch you later, guys. Goodbye.